Everybody's got their flags out. Definitely feels like Bethesda Fountain in Central Park. Hello and welcome to the Marshall House in downtown Savannah, Georgia. Known as the most haunted hotel in the country, ? Marketing, potentially. Also, deep cut, there is an old Telltale game, a Walking Dead game that actually takes place at this hotel. So, zombies and stuff. Anyway, it's a very, very old building, but it has tons and tons of charm. So, it's Savannah. Let's go explore. Savannah is a beautiful city, and you really can't beat just randomly walking around the historic downtown. So that's what we're gonna do. I can smell horse manure. Horses around here somewhere. This is probably the most Savannah street in Savannah. Super quiet, high-end residential, and these amazing trees overhead. You could literally walk down the street. I mean, there's barely any traffic. So throughout Savannah, there are these squares, town squares. This is Lafayette, kind of nestled in different quadrants. What a fantastic city planning concept. Everybody's got their flags out. I'm not sure what building this is, but the architecture on the top, it's almost like a Art Deco hybrid. I don't know. That's a cool building. I'm glad looks like they're working on it, fixing it up. And there's Paula Deen's restaurant, Lady and Sons, here on Whitaker Street. And the river is just down there, about 3 blocks. Bird's Cookies started here in Savannah, and the Bird's cookie jar always reminds me of the shake from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I can't be the only one that thinks that. When in downtown Savannah, especially at the Riverwalk, be very, very careful where you walk and how you walk, because it is full of cobblestone, and it is very dangerous tripping hazard. Watch your step. In Savannah with glass bottles of Dr. Pepper, it's giving some Forrest Gump vibes. There's a bunch of sweet shops like this around. So take your pick. No matter where you walk, you're gonna find a candy apple. No matter where you walk, there's going to be a tour. For example, tour to the left, tour to the right, and we've walked past probably a half dozen others today. They are everywhere. True story, took a ghost and graveyards tour several years ago, and not a fan. Pretty darn cheesy. There's my review. Shining review. And that is the Marshall House, where we are staying. Thing I really like to do in cities in general, when just exploring and spelunking, is get up very early and just kind of wander and look at stuff, because when there's no one on the streets, you see a lot more and you notice a lot more. Time for a little bit of history. Savannah, Georgia was the first planned city in the United States. Obviously not the first city, but the first one they actually had city planning develop an actual working layout for the park system and street system. Old style of entry into the buildings with the alcove. So cool. It's a lost art form. Gonna head over to Maple Street for some breakfast. They have fantastic biscuits, and that's what we're gonna get.
Yours looks good.
It does. I'll share it with you. I got biscuits and gravy, but a cool thing about this place is you can get gravy with shiitake gravy instead of sausage gravy, which is great because, similar to what Sam Jackson once said, I don't dig on swine, so I'll take shiitake gravy over sausage gravy any day. The city of Savannah has a really, really deep, enriched art community. There's an art school here. So you're gonna find these little museums periodically throughout town. So if you're into the arts, Savannah might be a place for you. So Bird Girl from Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil is here at this museum. I just find it very funny that it's literally called Bird Girl, not like some other really interesting creative name for it. Also, I don't like the look on this guy's face. That's an iconic Savannah image right there. Oak trees, Spanish moss, fountains, parks. Checks all the boxes. This building caught our eye from on the other side of the park. Of the historical homes in Savannah, this one is huge. It faces the park, Orleans Square, so it's extremely wide. Big wide porch, huge columns. Let's get a closer look at this thing. It's the Harper Folks house. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. You can tour it, but not today. They're not open today. But it's extremely impressive. It may be. All right, wait for it. Wait for it. Always mattresses. Just imagine Forrest Gump running down these streets. Ooh, dead end. This is Jones Street, in case you're wondering. One of the arguably prettiest streets in town. I'm sure if you look at Savannah pictures on any of the social medias, the Instagrams and whatnot, you're going to find people posing on this street. Walking these streets just doesn't get boring. There's just so much to look at. There's something romantic about steps like this. Also, it's fun to play a game where you can see the dates on all the houses. 1850s, 1860s, 1870s is the most popular date I'm seeing, so I guess that was the big boom, residential boom of the area. One of the staples in Savannah that people always flock to, as you can see by this very long line, is Leopold's ice cream. I'll be legit with you. It tastes like ice cream. It's okay. I've had it once, and I haven't waited in that line since. So there's my glowing review of Leopold's. It's ice cream. At the very bottom, hard to tell, but there is a stamp that was manufactured in New York, this fountain. So if we zoom out, it does have a little bit of that vibe that you see in that Central Park fountain, that iconic one. Think of any movie that takes place in New York. Anyway, over the years, it's been restored. In '88, it was restored, and it is dedicated to one of the mayors of Savannah. Beautiful, iconic fountain. I was trying to look around to see what the imagery represents. Let me see if I can find something, because we've got some mermen in the middle, having a good time. We've got geese over to the side, and then we got this lady at the top, and I can't tell what's in her hand, but to me it just looks like she's prepping a needle. That little like liquid shooting out the top. I have no idea. Here's another angle. It almost looks like a rifle. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you know what that is in her hands. But yeah, definitely feels like Bethesda Fountain in Central Park, New York. But instead of in a busy urban city, we're in a southern city full of charm and trees and parks. Forsyth Park has public restrooms centrally located in the park. And cities like this, you walk around, it can be hard to find a public restroom. So FYI, there's one here, right there. Fun fact, Mr. James Pierpont, the composer of Jingle Bells. He was a music director at this church here at Savannah. Also, he served in the Confederate Army. So Savannah is the home of Jingle Bells. Who would have thought? This is known as the Davenport House, a very historical location. Let's go inside and look around. They do have public tours, and we're gonna do it. Let's go. Whoops, change of plans. Holiday weekend, they're closed, not giving tours. Let's try another house. Okay, round 2 of house tours. This is the Owens Thompson house and slave quarters. That's the house there, and the slave quarters back there. And also a very pretty green door. Price of admission is $25 per adult. You may think that's a little pricey for a house tour, but it does give you admission to 2 other museums in the area, a classic museum and a fine arts museum. We saw the classic one earlier when we saw the Bird Lady statue advertisement. That's one of the museums. So when you're in the house, you cannot take video. You're allowed to take pictures, but no video. So quick synopsis, wealthy people, enslaved population on the property, and the home was donated to a museum in the mid 1900s. It's beautiful on the inside. It's very well kept. So if you're going to tour the home, you might as well put your sticker on these drain pipes, because all of them along this building are covered in tour stickers from that house tour. Cool bridge up ahead, and typical Savannah. Randomly you turn a corner and boom, historical stuff. It is a vault right here on the riverfront. River's on the other side of those buildings, used for storage and whatnot. Another check box on the things to do in Savannah, the river cruise. So let's jump on this big old paddle boat and head downriver. Dance floor and a line for drinks. So this ship is 4 levels tall, and here we are at the top. And it appears to be a steamship, but it is not. It's gas powered, but that's okay. I won't hold it against it. And there's the river walk right there. That's looking upriver on the Savannah River. And that's looking downriver. So we're gonna go that way on the cruise, kind of toward Tybee Island.
Well, kind of a fun fact, there's only actually 2 places in the world where you guys can actually find alligators. They're a little further downriver, but we'll definitely kind of keep an eye out for those. Oh, we're just about to pass underneath it in the next minute. This is the Eugene Telling Bridge, which is coming quite close to it. It's actually about a $200 million proposed project to actually raise up the Telling Bridge center span on other major ports on the East Coast. Now, if you look about 5 miles upriver, it's a little hazy, a little bit hard to... Some 50,000 ships over a span of 44 years, major ships passing each other, gives them a little bit of extra room to safely navigate by each other.
As we depart the Georgia Queen vessel, here's a little PSA for you. If it's 80 degrees in Savannah in the summertime, just imagine it's 100. With the heat index, it's over 100 right now. It is terribly hot, borderline dangerously hot, so be aware. It's a scorcher. One thing I noticed about downtown Savannah, there's several of these, let's just call them nerd culture shops, comics, video games, anime, stuff like that. Makes a lot of sense seeing that there's a heavy influence with the art school in town. But yeah, if you're looking for this sort of stuff, everything from mangas to really old toys. I mean, look at this over here. I mean, come on now. That, heck, they got a Sega CD over there. That's my jam. Winning the award of oldest residence I've seen so far on this trip, 1820. So this is a 200-year-old home still functioning. The Freeman's Cottage. Wonder if the homeowner's name is Gordon. Did you get that reference? It's like a gingerbread house and a dollhouse mixed together. It's a cool looking building. Rise biscuits and donuts. They have a chalkboard where you can write or draw whatever you want on it. Someone drew cell down there in the corner. And this is pretty much your seating if you want to eat here. So you'll probably have to sit outside or take it to go. So that is a Nashville hot chicken biscuit, veggie chicken. As you may or may not know, I don't dig on the chicken either. And cheese grits. Over there is a fried green tomato biscuit. And traffic. There's no curb here. I'd be afraid a car would roll up on me. Anyway, time for breakfast. That was Savannah, Georgia. Just a day and a half of walking around, doing things, seeing things. So until next time, everybody, take it easy.